Hi everyone, and today I will be leading a full body stretch. This practice will be approximately 40 minutes, and I'll be doing a voiceover because I recorded this in my room early in the morning. All you'll need is a pillow, like so. It can be smaller, but you can use this later in Savasana underneath your upper or lower back. You can also place this pillow underneath your legs. And you can also substitute this pillow for a rolled up or folded blanket. The only other thing you could use for this practice, if you do have it, is a block. This block can be placed underneath your sit bones to get a deeper hip stretch, to make sure you have correct posture. It can also be used later when we do some poses on our backs. But for now, all I would like you to do is find a comfortable spot and tune into your breath. Seated in an upright position, you can begin by inhaling your arms up and exhaling them back down to your mat. Inhale again, bringing the crown of your head and your chin up to the ceiling, and exhale, bringing your chin down to the ground, following your hands. We can repeat this for a few more cycles, inhaling and exhaling, making sure all of our body movements are following our breath. We can inhale and interlace our fingers, hinge forward for a seated forward fold. I'm facing you just so you have a better view of what some of the poses look like. Inhale, your arms back up, exhaling, your hands palm up, back to the ground. Feel this breath. Inhale and raise your right hand up, lowering your pointer and middle finger. Place your right thumb on your right nostril, inhale, and place your pinky and ring finger on your left nostril, exhaling, rotating back and forth for this inhale and exhale practice. Making sure as you place your right thumb on your nostril, you're feeling the breath enter your left nostril. And you can exhale and place that hand back down, inhaling your hands to heart center. Here you can set an intention for this practice. If you don't have one, you can borrow mine, and that is just to be light and feel rejuvenated. You can place your hands back down beside you and roll up forward onto your knees. Bring your legs out behind you, up into a tabletop position. And we're going to move through some cat-cow flows. What you will do is with your first inhale, you arch your back, lifting your head and your chin up to the ceiling. Exhaling, tucking your chin and your head underneath, curving your spine up. Exhaling again, and going through this motion, following each inhale and exhale. Make sure when you're inhaling, you're filling your lungs as much as you can. And when you exhale, you're letting go. You can imagine you have this bar in front of you. If you'd like a deeper stretch, bending your elbows to go underneath. When you exhale, bending your elbows back to go underneath the bar into your cat position. You can pretend that this bar is there if you'd like, or if there is too much pressure in any parts of your back, then feel free to remain in the same position. You can exhale down into child's pose, dropping your head to the mat, feeling your fingertips on the ground. And with every inhale, you want to lengthen your spine. With every exhale, sinking your hips deeper onto the floor, closer and closer to your heels. When you inhale, you would like to move your hands over to the right side, stretching out your left ribs. You can exhale, coming back to the center. Take one breath here and repeat on the opposite side, moving your hands to the left and repeating 2 full breaths here. Inhaling your hands back to center. Take 1 full deep breath here in child's pose and move back up to tabletop. You can place your knees underneath you, sitting on your heels, and move through some simple shoulder rotations or shoulder circles just to warm up your neck muscles. Once you're comfortable, you can change positions. Once you are done with those, please inhale your arms up, placing your left hand on the mat and your right hand on your head, pulling it to the right side. Please be gentle here with your neck and release. Do the same on the opposite side, trying to keep your right hand on the ground to maintain some balance. Place your left hand back on the ground. We'll move through some neck circles here. You can make some big circles, feeling every part of your neck stretch. Now you can change directions, making sure the back of your head touches your neck and your chin touches your chest. Leaving your head hang here. Take 1 deep breath and inhale your arms up and exhale back into child's pose. We'll be moving through some large hip circles. Make sure you try and inhale up to tabletop and exhale down into your heels. Making sure all of your movements are following this breath. You can drop your hips now into cobra pose, making sure you don't feel any pinch or pressure in your lower back. And exhale, lowering yourself all the way down to your mat. You can bring your arms down beside you, palms down, bring your legs in. Then inhale, rise and lift everything up. You can keep your legs on the ground if you'd like. You can keep your hands on the ground, but exhale and drop, placing your head to the right side, looking to the left, feeling yourself melt into the mat. Inhale and bring yourself to center. Rise up again, lifting everything off the mat except your pelvis and your thighs. Hold this and bend, and exhale, dropping everything to the floor. And bring your legs up, grasping the inner ankles or the inner sides of your feet. Stretching out your chest and shoulders here. You can rock back and forth a little. Let go and lower everything to the mat once more. When you lower yourself, you really want to feel the sinking into the earth. With your next inhale, place your hands up by your ribs, by your armpits. Raise yourself into upward dog, into downward facing dog. And here, pedal out your legs. Warm up your hamstrings and your quads. You can have a slight bend here in your knees, or straighten them and bring your forearms to the ground for a little different of a stretch in your legs. But go back to regular down dog. Inhale your right leg up. Rotate your foot around, doing some ankle circles. And exhale it back down to the mat. Inhale your left leg up. Do the same ankle circles here. And exhale your leg back down to the mat. Inhale your right leg up. And stack your hips, bringing your right leg behind you. Inhaling it back up to the front of your mat by your hands. Extending your leg. It's okay if you can't keep it straight here. Place your hands back down on the mat. Exhale your right leg up and back. Pedal out your legs, and we'll repeat on the left. Inhaling the left leg up. Stacking your hips and bringing your left leg behind you. Making sure your right leg stays forward. Exhale it back and up towards your hands. Finding your balance. You can place your hands on your shin, on your ankle, or keep it on the mat. Placing them back down on the mat. Exhale your left leg back, lower, and move into downward dog. You can walk your legs slowly up to your hands. Hang here. Inhaling, exhaling. You can grab your opposite elbows. I'm going to turn so you can face me. Holding opposite elbows, you can swing side to side. Exhaling your arms down to the mat. Inhale up to a halfway lift. You can place your hands on your thighs or your shins, but don't place them on your knees. Exhale back all the way down. Fold. Inhale, rise up. Bring your arms all the way up to the ceiling. I know you can't see this, but that's okay. Exhale all the way back down for a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. You can place your hands back down on the mat into a high plank, low plank, to an upward facing dog with your inhale. can place your legs on the mat here if you'd like. You can do this yogi toe tuck, where you just tuck your toes underneath, lifting your hips up into that downward facing dog. Get comfy here. Bring your feet up to your hands. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale and rise all the way up. Can add a back bend here. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, placing your hands back down on the mat, moving through your chaturanga. Inhaling up to an upward facing dog. Exhaling to a downward dog. Inhale your right leg up and bring it up towards your hands, your shin being parallel to the front of the mat. Make sure you get comfortable here. If there's any pain in your hips, don't sink. But we're gonna shoot that leg through the circle you created, through the opening with your body. Extend that left arm back for a wild thing. You can place your right knee down on the mat if this is easier for you. Exhaling and placing your hand back down on the mat, shoot the right leg back, place it down on the mat, and lift up your left leg. Bring it up towards your hands, just like we did before. Stretching those deep, deep inner hips, and shoot that leg through the opening that you made with the same side of your body for wild thing on the left side, and you can place that left knee down on the mat if you'd like. Exhaling your hand back down and your left leg back down on the mat. Step your hands and your feet together and move through a chair pose. Exhaling and folding all the way down. Make sure you let your head drop. Inhaling back up to a chair pose. Exhaling your hands to heart center. I'm going to move so you can face me. Inhale to the right side, twisting and opening up your arms if you'd like. You want to make sure that your knees remain parallel to the front of your mat. Exhale your hands back down to a forward fold. Place your hands underneath your feet if you can. Add a bend in your legs if you need. Stretch yourself out here before we move on to the left hand side. Inhale up into a chair and exhale to the left hand side. Twist and open up your arms if you'd like, feeling that chest expand. Making sure that those knees are staying to the front of the mat, which can be harder than it looks. Come back to center, exhaling your hands back down to the mat. Inhaling to a halfway lift, exhaling and folding. Inhale, rise all the way up. Bring your hands to heart center and down by your hips for mountain pose. You should feel strong and liberated here, feeling that breath. Move your legs out to the width of your mat, facing 10 and 2, and squat all the way down. You want your heels off the mat. You want to press your elbows against the inside of your knees and your inner thighs. Stretching out your groin here. You can move from side to side on each heel. That feels good for you. Now, when you move to your left side, extend your right leg all the way out. Stretch this out here as deep as you'd like. And gently move to the opposite side, bending the right leg and extending the left. Inhale yourself back up, and you want to hinge forward from your hips, not your back. See if you can get your head to the mat here. If you can't, just have it be something you practice. You can extend your arms out in front of you. This fold is really, really great for your back, your hips, and your legs, things that are all connected. Inhale yourself back to seated on your knees. And inhale your arms up, exhaling them to the left side, stretching the right side of your body. Inhaling your arms back up to the center and over to the right side, stretching the left side of your body. Try and see how deep as you can go here, inhaling them back up to center and exhaling them forward. You're here in child's pose, tapping back into that breath, the intention of feeling light. Inhale yourself up to tabletop, following downward dog, and inhale your right leg up. Exhale it up by your right hand, and open up that right leg, feeling the stretch on your right hip. With your next natural inhale, sit back on your left foot. Inhale your arms up and hinge forward to grab this right foot. Make sure you're still breathing here. You can release and bring your left foot so that it's touching your inner right thigh. Stretching forward again. Make sure you notice where your mind goes when you feel a sense of uncomfort. Release this, come to a crisscross position, and kick your legs back for a downward dog. Going to repeat the same thing on the left side. So inhale your left leg up, bring it up towards your left hand, and open that left leg out so your left knee comes a little closer to the ground. Feeling that stretch in the deep part of your left hip. With your next inhale, sit back on your right leg now, inhaling up and folding forward to stretch your left leg. Like earlier, notice where your mind goes when you're uncomfortable. Moving your right leg from underneath you to the inside of your left leg. Having that same stretch. Making sure you're still breathing. And exhaling to release. You can move so that your left knee comes up to the front of your mat, keeping that left leg behind you, and pull it up to see how close you can get it to your bum. This stretches out your glutes. Place it back on the ground, lifting your left knee off of the ground, doing the same thing, holding that right leg behind you, but placing the left hand on the ground. Release this as you exhale and place your hands back in front of you, up by that left leg. Lift the right knee off of the ground, shoot the left leg back, and lower your right leg in front of you, parallel to the front of your mat, and to inhale your left leg up, holding it and bringing it as close to your bum back as you can without discomfort. Release this, coming onto your right foot rather than your right knee, holding your left foot again, but placing your right hand on the ground. Breathe here, release, placing your hands back on the mat, exhaling your right leg behind you into a plank and slowly lowering yourself to the mat. Feel yourself melt as you inhale and exhale, moving your head to the left. Inhale yourself up to tabletop and bring your knees underneath your chest and your arms behind you. You can hold your heels if you'd like. You can keep it on the mat. Palms up or palms down. I prefer palms down. Feel your breath here. Feel the intimacy of being close to all of your body parts here. Release and bring your arms forward, rocking back to a seated position with your legs out in front of you. Inhaling your arms up and forward. You can bend your knees here if you need to grab your feet. But when you release, bring your bum towards your feet, exhaling your back down towards the mat. Going to prepare for bridge pose here, lifting your lower back and hips off the ground, placing your hands and arms underneath you for support. After 4 full breaths, you can slowly lower yourself back to the ground, making sure you keep a slow and steady pace. You can kick your legs side to side and prepare for the next round of bridge. With your knees center, inhale and lift your lower back up. Making sure you stay breathing You keep your chin tucked. You keep your feet parallel. Place your hands back on the mat, out from underneath you, and slowly lower yourself back down. If you'd like to do this again or go into a wheel, just bring your hands up by your ears with your inhale. Use it to pick yourself up, raising your hips off the ground, as well as your back. Whenever you're ready to come back down, tuck your chin all the way in, lifting up your heels and nestling back down into the mat. Have your heels touch with your knees out wide. Bring your arms out to a T. Have both of your knees come to your right side, pulling them over if you'd like with your right hand, but have your gaze to your left side, feeling this spinal twist here. Exhale and release this, moving your legs from side to side till they go over to the opposite side on the left, pulling them with the left hand and looking over to the right side. Releasing this with your exhale. Move your legs side to side. And if you have that pillow, block, or blanket, you can place it underneath your lower back to help you with raising your legs up if it's easier on your hips. You can support your lower back with your hands for a shoulder stand, slowly lowering back down. That was just to show you guys how to use the pillow, but I'm going to be using the block. So do the same thing, placing it under your seat bones, having your legs facing the ceiling, keeping your toes pointed. If you don't need support, you can do this for a stronger core workout, supporting your lower back when you raise your hips. And if you'd like, you can slowly lower your legs down behind you, pedaling them back and forth. If you're able to bend your knees and bring them close to your ears for deaf yogi, you're able to. This is a great back stretch if you're able to learn how to do it. You keep your shoulders on the mat and you continuously support your lower back. Making sure you continue to breathe here. When you exhale, roll yourself out, keeping your legs up and tuck them in for an upward seated position. Place your left leg over your right leg. If you have the block, you can place it underneath you for a deeper stretch in your hips. Inhale your arms up and move your arms side to side. Exhaling them back down to the mat. If you're on a block or if you're not, you can place your legs out to the side as far as you can. I can't do a split, so it's okay if you can't either. But inhale and reach your right foot if you can. Exhaling back to center and inhaling over to your right foot. Exhale back to center. Bring both your legs forward. Feel that stretch in your hamstrings and behind your knees. You can remove the block if you had one. Keeping your legs out in front of you. Bring your butt in, and we're going to do a variation of the pigeon pose. So keeping your right leg bent, bring your left leg so that your left foot is over your knee, and rock back with your back on the mat, and bring your right leg off of the ground, holding it like so behind your thigh. This is just a little comfier than the regular pigeon pose, especially for those with knee injuries. You can release this and do the same on the opposite side, moving your right foot over your left knee, and rocking back, holding behind your left thigh. You can release this and grab both of your feet for happy baby. You can extend your legs out. Bring them back together. Place them back onto your mat. Here, focus on this breath, the end of our practice. With your right hand on your chest and your left hand on your stomach. Tuning into the true living human that you are. Feeling grateful that you're able to move your body in this way. Acknowledging this part of you is extremely important, especially in the world of yoga. And even if you don't practice yoga often, stretching like this is incredibly important. And into our Savasana. You have a pillow or a blanket you want to place underneath you, go ahead. But extend your legs out. Place your hands by your side. And relax here for a few moments. Making sure you are still tuning into that natural and organic breath that we started this practice with. Here and now, it's living in the present moment that is the only way to tame the mind. For the mind throws us into turmoil, thinking of the past and worrying about the future, but by noticing our breath, the inner sensations of the body, the light around us, the ground beneath our feet, we begin to find ourselves in the here and now. The question, what if, ceases to plague our days, and acceptance begins to flower. Make sure you are living in the here and now. With that, bring some awareness back into your hands and feet. Inhaling your arms up and back for a full deep body stretch. And exhaling in, tucking your knees into your chest and giving yourself a huge big hug. Turn to your right hand side, placing your forehead on the ground. For in this fetal position, you have some growth and rebirth. I hope you feel rejuvenated. But before we end this practice, I hope we can all breathe one last time together. So inhale, your hands up. Exhale to the left side. Inhaling, then back up to center, and exhaling over to the right side. Inhale back up. Bring your hands together and place them on your heart. Namaste.